Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into the highly anticipated 2026 World Cup. We're going to break down the data and figure out exactly who is primed to lift the most coveted trophy in all of sports. The tournament is creeping up fast, and our source material gives us a genuinely fascinating analytical look at the teams, this wild new format, and ultimately a prediction for who's going to take the whole thing. So let's just jump right into the scouting report. Here's our roadmap for today. We'll start with the 48-team era, move on to the heavyweights, check out some dangerous dark horses, break down the winning formula, and wrap it all up with the ultimate prediction. All right, Section 1, the 48-team era, a new landscape for the 2026 tournament. Listen, to really figure out who's going to win, we absolutely have to understand how 2026 is fundamentally different from literally every single World Cup that came before it. It's the absolute biggest question in world football right now, right? Who's actually going to lift that trophy in 2026? Are we going to see a former champion defend their crown? Or is some massive underdog going to step up and shock the world? Well, the source material gives us a really rigorous look at what it'll actually take to answer that. And honestly, that answer starts with one massive number: 48. For the very first time, a staggering 48 teams are going to compete. They'll be battling it out all across the United States, Canada, and Mexico, which means, well, we're about to witness way more matches, more drama, and more unforgettable moments than ever before. But structurally, this completely flips the script on the very nature of the competition. Because this new format, it comes with some incredibly intense demands. We're talking more matches and a ton more travel across 3 huge countries. And because of that, immense squad depth isn't just a luxury anymore, it's a sheer necessity. In the past, you could kind of ride a strong starting 11 all the way to the final. Not in 2026. Fatigue and injuries are absolutely going to compound over this longer stretch. So the teams with elite subs, battle-tested managers, and rock-solid chemistry, they're going to have a massive, massive advantage over the rest of the field. Which brings us to Section 2, the heavyweights. Analyzing the top contenders. Let's look at the traditional powerhouses and see how they actually stack up in this grueling new era. Look, whenever the World Cup rolls around, Brazil is automatically in the conversation, right? 5-time champions, the most successful nation in history. Their strengths are just undeniable. That magical attacking talent and a creative midfield that constantly pumps out superstars who can flip a game on its head in a split second. But there's a catch. Their crucial weakness lately has been struggling in the knockout stages against elite, organized European defenses. They'll dominate possession, but then totally fail to capitalize when it counts. If Brazil can finally nail that perfect balance between their unmatched flair and absolute defensive discipline, they are prime contenders. Next up, the reigning champions, Argentina. Winning in 2022 completely transformed the psychology of this squad. The analysis points out that they've got that one intangible every champion desperately needs: absolute belief. They know how to survive the pressure cooker, they know how to win ugly, and they will fight tooth and nail when everything's on the line. They are just relying on individual brilliance. They function as a complete unified machine. The only real question mark hovering over them for 2026 is whether their next generation of kids can step up as their legendary veterans start to age out. Now, listen to this defining quote from the analysis. Many football experts believe France has the strongest squad in international football. And honestly, looking at the source data, it is really tough to argue with that. France is loaded with world-class talent in practically every single position on the pitch. An explosive attack, a powerhouse midfield, a heavily experienced defense. But remember what we just talked about, the crazy depth required for this 48-team format? Well, France's bench is absurdly deep. Half their substitutes could easily start for other top-tier national teams. Plus, having been to multiple recent finals, they know exactly how to handle the heat. And then there's England. On a technical, physical, and tactical level, they can go toe-to-toe with absolutely anyone in the world. Their biggest advantage is that they just keep producing these elite players who are competing at the highest levels week in and week out. Talent has never been England's issue. Their burden? It's the absolutely enormous, suffocating expectations from their fans and the media. The whole country expects them to win, and that expectation can turn into a crushing weight. But if they can manage that mental burden and stay focused, there's no doubt they have the raw quality to make it to the final. All right, let's pivot to Section 3, dangerous, dark horses, the teams that could shock the world. Because if football has taught us anything, it's that nothing is ever guaranteed. Every single World Cup gives us surprises. I mean, just look at Morocco's incredible run to the semis in 2022. These nations bring very specific threats to the table, and writing them off would be a huge mistake. Portugal, they bring elite attacking quality. Spain has that incredibly frustrating possession-heavy style that just slowly suffocates opponents. Germany, well, they just have this habit of consistently clicking into gear when major tournaments arrive. The Netherlands has a never-ending pipeline of highly technical talent, and Morocco is coming in hot with proven elite status, serious momentum, and deep confidence. Never, ever underestimate a team with momentum. Sometimes one great tournament is all it takes to create history. Moving on to Section 4, the winning formula, what it takes to be a champion. Before we drop the ultimate prediction, let's quickly map out the absolute blueprint for a World Cup winning squad. According to the source analysis, there are 6 essential ingredients you absolutely must have. Number 1, an elite goalkeeper. 2, a strong defense that can weather the storm during tough matches. 3, absolute control over the midfield. 4, clinical finishing when you actually get those chances. 5, crucial squad depth, which, again, is the name of the game in 2026. And number 6, a little bit of luck. Because, let's be real, every single champion faces adversity. Nobody gets a perfect, easy run to the trophy. The thing that separates the actual champions from the rest of the pack is exactly how they respond when things inevitably go wrong. And that brings us to the moment of truth. Section 5, the ultimate prediction. Forecasting the 2026 champion. Time to put all the pieces together. When you take that strict 6-step formula, apply it to the massive new 48-team landscape, and heavily weigh squad depth, tournament experience, tactical flexibility, and overall balance, the source material points to these 4 absolute powerhouses as the predicted semifinalists: France, Argentina, Brazil, and England. These are the giants predicted to actually survive the gauntlet and be the last team standing. So how does that shake out? Well, the predicted final matchup is France versus Argentina. Talk about a heavyweight clash. This would be an unbelievable, highly dramatic rematch of the 2022 final. 2 elite footballing giants completely obsessed with lifting that trophy. And the final conclusion drawn from all this analysis? The predicted 2026 champion is France. So why France? Honestly, it goes right back to the demands of that new format we talked about right at the start. When you combine their mix of youth, experience, sheer athleticism, tactical flexibility, and, most crucially, their immense, unmatched squad depth, they are simply the best equipped team in the world to survive a 48-team marathon. They have the tools, and they know exactly how to handle the pressure to take home football's biggest prize. But hey, this is football we're talking about. Literally anything can happen on the day. One crazy moment, one bad bounce, and an underdog can completely shock the world. So based on the data and the formulas we've broken down in this explainer today, who do you think actually has the perfect mix to win it all in 2026? Are the heavyweights going to dominate, or is a dark horse waiting in the wings to rewrite history? Take these insights, keep an eye out when those brackets finally drop, and decide for yourself. Thanks so much for tuning into this explainer. Keep analyzing the beautiful game, and I'll catch you next time.